World Cup in there. All right, folks, let me start. The 10th COVID-19 death recorded in Jamaica, unfortunately. An 87-year-old woman from Kingston and St. Andrew. So we got that news last evening. And also last evening, one new sample tested positive, bringing the country's total confirmed cases to 591. The country also had 5 more recoveries in the last 24 hours. So this brings that total to 361. So truth be told, we now only have 230 active cases. So it's not like you have 591 active and then you have another 361 who recovered. The 361 would be a part of that 591. So my math tells me 230. 217 of the country's cases are contacts of confirmed cases. 27 are local transmission cases. 92 imported cases. 235 linked to the Alorica workplace cluster. And I'm told that 20 cases are under investigation.
So we're 61% recovery rate in the country.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, and we were talking about it earlier, how the numbers are reported in terms of the affected cases and recoveries. We hear first the amount of people who are confirmed, and then you hear the numbers after.
I said that because that question was asked of me. Someone said to me if that means that is very rare, but no, only 230. And it says 37% active cases currently under observation, and one moderately ill and one critically ill. And we pray that that person will come out of that. But again, condolences to the family and friends of the lady who we lost, 87 years old. And now we're up to 10. So that's never great news.
Yeah, and 169 still remain in quarantine.
Yeah. What's the next one?
Second one, George Floyd. I'm sure you've been following the news. The updates, 3 more officers have been charged. Chauvin, the murder charge, has been upgraded. The police officers involved in his death and officials have upgraded the charges against Officer Derek Chauvin. Minnesota officials charged 3 more officers, former police officers, on Wednesday in the death of George Floyd, and added an upgraded charge. So Keith Elliston, the Attorney General of Minnesota, announced the charges at a news conference yesterday afternoon. 3 officers, Thomas Lane, Alexander Queng, and Tu Tao, were charged with aiding and abetting murder, court records show, and Mr. Queng was in custody on Wednesday. County jail records showed. The authorities said that they're in the process of arresting Mr. Lane and Mr. Tao. The death of George Floyd has sparked a lot of protests, a lot of emotion in America across the world.
Protest / riots. I think they've calmed down just a bit. I was a little concerned when I heard that they upgraded the charge, and I tell you why, because I was listening to the same gentleman who upgraded the charge, and he said it was more difficult to find him guilty. Apparently, the charge of second-degree murder, they have to prove that he came there wanting to kill the man, which he says is incredibly hard to prove. But what I felt good about is somebody else said, well, if the jury could say, all right, we don't find him guilty on second-degree murder, but we find him guilty on third-degree murder, which would give him 25 years. Because now they have to prove that he came with a mindset to kill him.
Yeah, and again, that is difficult.
And that is very difficult. The second charge, they have to prove that because Mr. Floyd was saying, I can't breathe and stuff, he should have realized that he was going to die. And because of that, he could be charged for third-degree murder. But I think they all should be charged for the same thing, actually. They can't be, because it was just one officer's knee on his neck. But
one on his neck, but there are others
on his back.
Yeah,
they had 2 on his back.
2 on his back and one was standing.
But as the police commissioner said, if you didn't do anything about it, it's almost like you are part of it. So more and none, as they say, because this is going to take a while, I think, to get everything, all the charges, and go to court and stuff like that. But boy.
They even said trying this case will not be an easy thing. Winning a conviction will be hard.
Yeah.
And it's scary to think about it, even with evidence, even with video evidence.
And I don't know if this gentleman can have a fair trial.
No, because it's because of how it's in the media.
Yeah, because someone even came out who knew him very well, and the person said, well, we all know that him have a little, anger problem. So when you say that, then you're his friend. And apparently he had 17, they wrote him up 17 times in 18 years for abuse of power type of thing. So why he was still out there after all of that, I don't know. But Mr. Floyd won't come back, unfortunately. But let's see if justice will be done. Next one.
Crossroad cop dies on the job. Fought through the pain to complete his final shift.
Yeah, it was on Monday, and they said District Constable Maurice Walker, they said he was scheduled to retire this month, actually. They say he served in the Jamaica Constabulary Force for 35 years, and on Monday he complained about a pain in his leg. They recommended that he elevate the leg to reduce the swelling, and I'm quoting here from Inspector Hopelin Henry, and I quote, but he would have none of it, so he continued to work until 6 o'clock in the evening to end his shift. She declared that he was found unresponsive in his back room and later pronounced dead, and she declared that policing was stressful, but she said she was unaware if he personally was contending with additional pressure at work or otherwise. And just before that, another district constable, Tamara DaCosta, was pronounced dead at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James. So again, condolences to the family and to the force and to the friends of these wonderful crime fighters.
Yeah, and you know what that says? And it's something that my mother says to me, don't work yourself into the ground. Because when you pass, someone else will replace you, so you have to take time. You have to think about your health, think about your sanity. Because at the end of the day, all we really have is one life.
Yeah, I agree with that, but some of us just kind of feel that we are superhuman.
Yeah.
And sometimes you feel a little pain and everybody says, no, I'm a good man, everything all right, man. You're not a medical person, so yeah, Dwayne is right. Yeah. We need to be careful. So.
And a lot of us in sports, in media, we're guilty of that. Mm-hmm. We feel as if, okay, we can do this because we're doing it for the people, but sometimes you have to take in consideration.
When I played professional football, he was a Jamaican, Donald Pierce, played for Jamaica also, and he got the wickedest tackle I ever see. It was about 3 minutes into the game. Get up and could hardly move. And coach said, come up. He said, no, man, I'm a good man. And he played the game and then realized that it was broken. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was broken and broken badly, and he played the entire game. So sometimes we kind of do this. Last one? Nope.
I think
not the last one. Yeah, a couple more.
Yeah. Indicom points to 7 people in prison for over 40 years each without trial. Demands changes. And the headline for this is madness. The Independent Commission of Investigation, Indicom, is reporting that there are at least 7 people who remain in the island's prisons having spent 40 or more years each, despite not being convicted for any crime. So when I read this, and I saw some of the names of the people, and I thought to myself, everything that's happening around the world with the protests for George Floyd, and we have issues like this at home, how can a man, or how can people be in prison for almost 40 years? That's twice my lifetime. I thought about 40 years, and I'm just 29. And I thought to myself, how could I be in prison for 40 years and nobody at all, whether it's the DPP, whether it's the warden, whoever it is, nobody thought it right for these men to get a fair trial.
Yeah, you're going to lose the thing later. That's why I know. 29 and 29 way past 40, so you said twice your lifetime. They'll lose it. It's a serious thing, though. Yeah. I'm just giving him a hard time. There was this gentleman, Mr. Noel Chambers. He went to jail in February 1980. 1980, after he was deemed unfit to plead to a murder charge. Now, he died recently in prison after spending 40 years without being tried, despite being deemed fit to plead on 2 occasions. So the first time they said, well, he's not fit to plead, and they put him in jail. Twice after that, they said he is now fit to plead, but he never got an opportunity. Spent 40 years in jail, and the gentleman is now dead. And Dwayne said it. The headline said madness. That is madness. When I say that is madness, it is madness what was allowed to happen. Not that the gentleman was mad.
And it's madness what continues to happen.
Yeah.
Because if I saw the pictures, I'm not sure if you saw the pictures. I saw the pictures last night. And believe me, I thought, this man could have been my father. This man could have been my
The head of Indicom says his
that's
clothing,
Terrence Williams.
Mr. Williams, his clothing was filthy. His body showed evidence of chronic emaciation. He was covered with what appeared to be vermin bites, live bed bugs. He showed signs of having bed sores. Where is everybody while this is going on? Where is everybody while this is going on? And he noted that this was not an isolated case. He said there was someone else who has been there for 19 years, and this was housebreaking and larceny, as well as assault at common law.
What does it mean by at the Governor General's pleasure?
We pay for it. It's like the Governor General is, it kind of says we pay for everything. We're paying for everything, all of these people in jail. He says in another case, someone incarcerated for 31 years, and they're awaiting trial. It's not like they get convicted, and gone to jail, Them don't get tried yet. And them in jail for 31 years.
No,
wow.
That is all my life. Too.
You're definitely not winning. You are 29.
I'm bad at math. Tell
Yeah.
everything I'm bad at. But these things, and William said it, these cases highlight systemic failure in reviewing indeterminate detention. And it's a clear breach of the constitutional rights of persons who are detained in inhumane conditions and or for an extended period without trial.
Yeah, and we don't sit here to say, boy, it's going to cause it or anything, because I suspect there are so many other things going on in the prison system and stuff, but how in the world? And I need to also ask, where would his family be? Where would his family be? If he does have any family, why would he be in jail for 40 years and nobody's not saying, nobody don't go look for him and know that he's all right and he can talk now and he's good? What's going on with that? That's scary. That's sad. That's incredibly sad.
There's just more questions than answers.
Yep. All right, going to go for a break. We're close to News in 5, so after the break, we'll have Shane and News in 5, then we come back to Studio B. Stay with us, please.